I have been a slow burn in this industry. I'm still here somehow. I call myself a stealth housewife. People know of me. I'm very recognizable, but, I have a level of respect. Somehow I've remained unscathed. I think when you get that very fast fame very quickly, and I see it with a lot of the people that I'm around now that had started shows and suddenly they blow up, it's easy come, easy go, people. And you have to remember that you can lose it as quickly as you make it.
Were you entrepreneurial in mindset as a child?
No, I think I was just bloody minded. I think that I was very, very boarding school. What it does for you is make you tough, right? So you learn to deal with many things on your own. You learn to live. That's why everyone says, "Have you lasted a housewife so long?" Because I'm very good at living with people I don't like. Once you've hit rock bottom and you come back, you are unfuckable with.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there's nothing like a good court case to kind of...
really, Sergio and I have become very, very good at not going out anymore. Like, we are in LA and we've been out one night. We went to Bird Streets, that's it. We are I used to be chasing every party and event and this, and we just not. That's a tough one, isn't it? Because women, we're our own worst enemy. Yeah. My whole motto is there's plenty of room for everyone. And there really is, ladies. And the more you give, the more you get. And that's not why you should give, but it's true. It comes back tenfold. And I think Oprah Winfrey said it best. You cannot possibly be friends with someone who's jealous of morticians. And I was actually looking at it the other day as a business. I'll tell you why. Because there is nowhere to bury people in the Middle East. And actually, I think morticians and funerals and all of these things, however awful it is, this will be a very big business for you. Your father is not wrong. I would be running down to his office immediately. I think we took ourselves too seriously. I think we put so much weight on our relationships and on ourselves. And I would like to say that everything does have a way of working itself out.
Hey, so welcome to another podcast episode of the Soulful Side of Life with me, Allyson Portee. I hope that you're well and having a good week. And I am excited about this podcast episode. Well, I'm excited about all of them, but this one in particular, it's with Caroline Stanbury, and she is an inspiration to so many women around the world. She doesn't take it lightly or for granted, and she's seeing how much of an impact that she's having on women. And it's because she's raw, she's genuine, she's authentic, she gives of herself. She exudes that she really genuinely cares. It's not a transactional thing. It's you can tell that this is genuinely flowing from her heart, and the wisdom that she pours out into other women with her retreats that she's doing around the world. I think this is why she's successful, and that God has given her this platform to pour into others. Caroline is doing that, and I think when you're doing it from a genuine, authentic place, people come and people want to be a part of this thing that she is doing, and it really is a movement. I could see Caroline putting on conferences in different cities around the world. If you don't know who Caroline Stanbury is, let me just briefly fill you in. She is a jack of all trades. She's London born, but she lives in Dubai with her husband, Sergio Corello. Sorry, Sergio, if I butchered your last name. Sergio was here as well. He's such a nice guy, so shout out to Sergio. But they're really citizens of the world. Though they live in Dubai, they're always traveling to different parts of the world, meeting different kinds of people, and engaging in different projects. And Caroline is a stylist turned reality star on Bravo's Serious Ladies of London, and then she became a member of Real Housewives of Dubai. And she has a very popular podcast, which has really taken off this year, called Uncut And Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. It used to be called Divorced, Not Dead. But the podcast really, in Coffee with Caroline, it's just I'll be out in the yard doing work or cleaning or cooking, and I'm listening to Uncut and Uncensored. And she's in the process with Sergio of opening a hotel in Bali. So enjoy this podcast episode. We talk about women, why women don't support each other. We talk about where her drive and ambition comes from, the importance of just starting something and doing your passion project, because you never know where it will lead. And so I hope that it adds value to your life and inspires you in some way to go and do your own thing.
So Caroline, thank you for joining my podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. And yet we were so close.
Yeah.
So easy for me.
Yes. And I think one reason why you're inspiring to women and men out there is because you're authentic, but you also give of yourself. And I just feel that people in your station in life don't really give of their time easily, because a lot of relationships are transactional in this industry.
Well, I think, I have been a slow burn in this industry. I'm still here somehow. I call myself a stealth housewife. People know of me. I'm very recognizable, but, I have a level of respect. Somehow I've remained unscathed. I kind of don't even like putting that out there because I'm waiting for someone to trip me up. But I think what it does is it humbles you. Right. I think when you get that very fast fame very quickly, and I see it with a lot of the people that I'm around now that it started shows and suddenly they blow up, it's easy come, easy go, people. And you have to remember that you can lose it as quickly as you make it. And somehow, I may not be the most famous, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I think that, as I said, has made me approachable, grateful, and very, very humbled that, that I'm still here, really.
Yeah. And I think you'll continue to stay here because you're authentic.
I think more and more people are just enjoying our story. And I think what you see with us, maybe that you don't see with others, that when the show ends, our social media continues in the same way. So it's not this giant change between when we're filming and when our real lives end and start. So they see that it is very much who we are.
Yeah.
It was actually funny because when I did the first series of Housewives, Dubai, people who knew me so well from my Instagram and all the social media, they were like, oh, you're not quite the same because, obviously when you're being attacked a lot, you can't be your sort of relaxed self. And I think, as I got on to this series 2, everyone saw me relax. And that's the great thing about the fans, because they stay with me. They know when I'm being attacked or I feel uneasy, or they can see it. And again, we seem to only be growing and growing, which is, I'm really grateful for and really enjoying my time now. And who gets to do this when they're 50?
I know. I can feel your growth from the summer. I'd be out in the yard cutting the grass and listening to your videos, and you were in Europe, and it just seemed like there's been a shift in your growth.
The grass.
Yes, I do. It relaxes me, the yard work.
Does it?
Yeah, I'd be out there watering the grass in the evening.
That's his favorite thing. And I okay, I don't really like doing it, but I love my garden so much. I love sitting in it and looking at it and looking at the flowers and all of this. So, it really grounds me too. So the first thing is I do and go and sit in my garden every morning.
Yeah, it really does relax. How are you finding LA? Is this a city that you would live in now? I was talking to Sergio and he's like, no, not now.
The sad thing is Sergio and I obviously met here. And I've got a lot of fond memories here. I'm staying with one of my best friends in the world, who I've been staying with since Ladies of London. So I have a lot of ties here. And obviously for work, it's amazing for us. I have to say we've had the best week ever. But I slightly feel sad. For me, it's lost a little bit of its mojo.
Yeah.
Gone are the days. I mean, I have been out one night. I think we've been in bed by 7 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
We're going for nice lunches. I love catching up with my friends, but I don't know about you. I feel like the city just has lost a little bit of, I don't think it really recovered since COVID
And the fires.
and the fires.
It has
Yeah, well,
really,
but it started before.
yeah.
And then the fires, I think, were the final nail
Yeah.
for people.
It's unfortunate. A lot of like New York, it has changed significantly since COVID. A lot of cities have changed.
Yeah, and they, I just feel like it was such a melting pot. Everybody came here to start their journeys in life. All the waiters were models and this and that. And now, of course, they can't afford to live here anymore. And they were all trying aspiring actors, and that sort of side of it is gone
Yeah.
very much. And being able to talk to people in restaurants, you'd go to bars and hang out, but now it's all about the table you were on. It's just a different feeling. It's very hard to describe, but I think because I knew it before, I think it would be hard for me now to transition back here. But also Dubai has offered me so many changes. I also, Sergio and I never in one place.
Mm-hmm.
We really are not. And I think that's the way we're going to continue to live. I'm not all about one big house. I want to move around, experience the world, meet new people. I think that's something we really, really enjoy. That's kind of our love language.
Yeah. I'm always traveling as well, and I can't imagine going back into an office job and doing a 9 to 5. It's very enriching to be able to go here, go there, different parts of the world. And it just, yeah, gives you this enriching experience, I think, if you just stay in one place.
You grow so much, right? I think it forces you to experience different cultures. We put ourselves out of our comfort zones all the time. If we're not like, climbing the Himalayas or swimming with whale sharks and, all of these things that look glamorous, but they're also scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have balls to go and swim with something that's, 7 feet tall, and could possibly swallow you at any moment.
Yeah.
But these are all wonderful experiences. And I think I've come to this phase in my life that my kids are at the age that they're leaving. I'm going to be an empty nester. And, I've done the huge house and all of the things I was meant to do. And now I'm just really like, if not now, then when is my motto?
Sure.
If you don't see the world now, when?
Yeah. A couple of questions about your early years. What was little girl Caroline like? I know that you went to boarding school, but what I'm hinting at is, were you entrepreneurial in mindset as a child?
No, I think I was just bloody minded. I think that I was very, very boarding school. What it does for you is make you tough,
Mm,
right? So you learn to deal with many things on your own. You learn to live. That's why everyone says, "Have you lasted at Housewives so long?" Because I'm very good at living with people I don't like.
yeah.
That's what happens at boarding school. You live with a lot of women you don't like. So I think that stood me in good stead. And also being around people that, judge you every day, right? So you don't fall to pieces. As much as I hated it, it has shaped who I am. So what that did is I think I am not mollycoddled, right? You get these children who have grown up at home, which is also like my children are growing up at home too, but I have taught them to have balls. You will hear no 100 times before you hear yes.
Mm,
Okay, I've been the breakout star of shows and I'm still, hustling to get there, right? It doesn't matter. And I think that you need to understand that if you don't understand that doors will close before they open,
mm,
then you'll find it very hard in life. There will always be someone richer. There will always be someone more beautiful. And, it's not about that. And if you've got to have that entrepreneurial get up and go and drive, and I think a lot of people have lost that today. They live in cotton wool, bubbles where people protect them from everything. And I refuse to do that for my children. Like I want them and I tell them how tough it's going to be. Obviously, you know, they can be Nepo babies. They can always work for me. But at the same time, I always say to them, I want you to go out and follow your dreams. And I think they watch me every day hustle. And I'm teaching them the value of, you know, starting again and pivoting. And you can do 57 I've reinvented myself more times than Madonna probably at this point.
yes, yes. But you're so resourceful, and you're able to, if you have to start again in life, you know that you can do that from anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's the biggest gift.
Yeah.
That is the biggest gift. Once you've hit rock bottom and you come back, you are unfuckable with.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there's nothing like a good court case to kind of, in Asian culture, you know how they do the bowing? And a friend explained to me, like, when they're children, their mothers are like kicking them in the behind. So they go down when they're in front of an elder. And I feel like a good court case, it's like God kicking you in the behind. So it just makes you stronger, because these are things you can't learn in life.
They're also things you can't control.
Right. They're factors. And I had a situation, a court case, and that just really made me tough, because it gives you tenacity to say, no, I want more, or this isn't done right. And how did that court case make you stronger? Do you think that you would be who you are today with your podcast and your tenacity without that court situation?
I mean, look, I had an 8-year law case. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So would I be here? Well, I wouldn't be here, because I'd still be in that business. I wouldn't have been with Sergio. I wouldn't have been living in Dubai. There was many factors I can thank it for. Would I wish it had never happened? Absolutely. And I think, winning it in such a spectacular way, I won everything. And the judge said, you shouldn't even be here. That was so powerful, because I think what happens when a court case goes on for many years, which is what they do to try and wear you down, that you just go, okay, take it. I think what happens is people, no matter what, they go, oh, no smoke without fire. She must have done something. And that's difficult to move on from, because, there's always the whispers of what did she do? What's it about? And to clear your name completely is, your main goal. But also at the time, because your legal fees are so high, no matter how hard you work, you can't keep up. And I think at that point, you sort of lose the will to work too, because you're just paying something that you're never going to see the fruits of your labor, right? Doesn't matter how hard I work. I'm not going to ever, it's not that I need a Chanel handbag, don't get me wrong, or a house or whatever, but I can't work towards anything, because someone else is just sitting there and collecting it from me. So you lose the passion. You see, I've always been driven by, I want a car, I want a house, I want to give my kids this, I want a holiday, whatever it is. I want, I always say, the thing about work is you should always treat yourself as well as pay your bills, because then you see something at the end of it. I didn't get that. I couldn't get anything at the end of it. So I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. Why am I doing it? So I think keeping my strength and my happiness and not being bitter through that, I don't know how I did that. I genuinely don't. And I don't know how I'm so happy-go-lucky as I am now, because I do know I'm unfuckable with now.
Maybe just because you were younger. Maybe because you have...
Not that much younger. I was in court at 43.
I see.
Right? So I really wasn't that much younger, but I had great support, and I just am somebody that always goes forward. I don't give up. I never have and never will. So anyway, having gone through that and come out so well the other side, like, I would like to tell everybody, or anybody, that you can and will get through it. You just have to keep going. And that is where people give up.
Yes. Yes. Where does your authenticity come from?
Well, I'm just a terrible actor. I mean, I don't think, I just think I'm always on screen, be it my screen or your screen. How would I keep that up?
Yeah.
That must be exhausting to play a character. My Instagram isn't flat. It's very, very candid. We're always filming. So, what am I going to do? You see the good, the bad, and ugly. I think the only thing I don't do on Instagram is go to the loo. So I think, you really see all of it. The only thing I'd keep for myself is...
President Johnson would give interviews sitting on the toilet. So you haven't taken it that far.
Well, I'm next. I love that you all love to see it. You watch it like a little mini TV show. I see
Yes.
how many people keep going. And, again, people aren't dropping off. They love watching it. We're just growing. So I feel like, they're fascinated by the way Sergio and I are together.
Mhm.
They're fascinated about the relationship and how we talk to each other and how funny it is and how I mother him and all of these things. And I think people want lightness. And I think that that's what we give. I think we give a laugh.
Yeah. And you add value. You're giving wisdom to topics that people are dealing with themselves, trying to start businesses and
Well, I think I've been through it all. I've built businesses, I've lost businesses, I've made a lot of money, I've lost a lot of money, I've remade money, I've got divorced, I married, been through it, court cases. I raised money with, huge companies. I think I've done most things that people would want to do. And what I've learned across the way is every business is similar. They all start the same way. They all sort of, everything that the founder goes through, it doesn't matter if it's a makeup business, TV business, a tech business, it's the same stuff. And once you learn that, you understand, okay, now I'm going to pick my mentor.
yeah, for sure. How many mentors do you have that?
Well, back in the day, I had a lot of mentors, the people that started Net-a-Porter and friends. I just reached out and said, how do you do it? And I still reach out to people now and go, okay, God, because obviously we're going into the hotel business,
Mm.
never understood, don't understand that. And look at all my friends. I've got one girlfriend who's built, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate. So I look at what she's doing and then I've used part of her team, and then that team sort of supports me and tells you how to do different things that you can do, structures that I didn't know were possible, how to play banks, how to raise the money you need to buy more and more property so you can leverage them and all of the above, right?
Mm.
So, but I'm never not learning. I mean, I said to Sergio the other day, I would love to go back to school with him. But when is another thing. But I think, we are in a sink or swim business, right? So it's just, you just keep swimming. And I think we have learned, Sergio is a prime example. I mean, he's never built anything in his life. And now he's building a hotel, which, he's doing all the meetings, he's doing all the building work. And I'm actually really impressed. Like I looked at the design and we've got two of the biggest interior designers came in to have a look and they were like, well, we wouldn't really change anything. So,
Wow.
yeah. I think you can learn anything at any time if it's your passion project, and I don't think I've always said that it's not about how many years experience you have. It's about the passion and the love you put into it.
Yeah. Your podcast, you've always had a podcast, but it seems like this year something has shifted with it. What do you think that is of this growth and more listeners coming in your vlog as well?
Again, I think that, Sergio and I, what do they say? First they laugh, then they judge, then they join you. I think, Sergio and I were that sort of Bravo joke relationship. And actually looking at it now, we're probably, you know, one of the long-standing ones, the ones that actually are the most supportive of each other and not in competition with each other. And I think everyone was sort of, now they see we're here to stay. The podcast, I think that just many women are going through all of these things right now. Relationships are incredibly hard to stay together. And women have always been told that this way round doesn't work. And trust me, I knew that when I was stepping into it, but I wasn't looking for this to work. I just, it wasn't that I wasn't. It's just that I didn't care either way. I just thought, let's just see. I think that's the problem. People want to know what the ending is before they've started.
Mm,
You can't do that. I just winged it and was like, okay, well, it'd be great until it's not.
yeah.
Right? If he wants to leave, you can't chain someone to you. I can't say to him day one, well, I don't know if this is going to work in 10 years, so I can't possibly date you. You sound ridiculous and you sound ridiculous. And I think that's what women always do. They start with the negative instead of starting with the positive. And if we led with the positive, which we ended up doing, I mean, I got over it. There was a certain amount of time where I had to just stop saying, you're going to leave me. This can never work. And everything he did, they always say actions speak louder than words. And Sergio's actions showed me he was going to be here and he's still here.
Yeah. Because he loves you.
Yeah.
So you live with or you don't live by fear. You just, I guess you
If we lived by
gather
fear,
facts, you make a decision and you go with it.
we lived by fear, we do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, I was fearless going into Real Housewives. Do you think I was fearless, raising whatever it was, $10 million? Do you guys fearless, ultimately you still owe that back to people. You know what I mean? It's like, do you think I was fearless when I had 87 employees? Like, I mean, no, of course you poop your pants every morning going, I don't know what I'm doing, but somehow I'm doing it. We bought land in Bali, and I'm like, why? Why did we buy land in Bali? We should have done it in Dubai. And now everybody wants to be in Bali. So, you know, you just have to commit to things that you say you're going to do. And I think what people do is a lot of talking. And I always say there's always a reason not to do it. It's like when people say, should I have a baby this year? Well, probably not. No, because there's never a good time to have a baby. But if you have the baby and get accidentally pregnant, somehow everybody works it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Life, that's life.
That's life.
When I interviewed your friend Inga Rubenstein, she spoke on how as she's gotten older, her circle has gotten smaller and she's careful about who she hangs out with. I can imagine you're careful as well who you hang out with, but you seem to still let people in. How do you find that balance?
Well, Inga is one of my best friends, and we really love each other. She's tough. Look, I have to remember that I have fans, right? And that's somewhere I haven't got to yet, which is, seeing who wants to be my friend versus who is a secret closeted fan and that wants to use me for either connections or, maybe something fun I'm going to and all of that kind of stuff. And I do have to be better at sieving through that. But I think the one thing, more than being careful, we have long-standing friends, people that have been in our lives for 15, 20 years, right? And I don't really change. The girl I'm staying with here, I've been friends with 15 years. But if I add new people, I go to dinner parties, I've met new people. We've had some wonderful new relationships this year that we've made and cultivated and been on holiday with, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. So I wouldn't hate to cut myself off from that.
Mm.
I think you just have to be a good judge of character. I think, some people will still let you down, but that's okay. Then you just quickly get rid of them. And, really, Sergio and I have become very, very good at not going out anymore. Like, we are in LA and we've been out one night. We went to Bird Streets. That's it. We are super. I used to be chasing every party and event and this, and we're just not. We're going to go home now to Dubai and hibernate. I'm going to hibernate with my children for the next few weeks until I have a jewelry launch coming.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. Until that, which you can all check out with Astria London, and actually Sarah Jessica Parker's the creative director. So, other than that, I am staying in. So unless you're my friend, you'd have to come find me anyway.
Yeah. So I was just at the Country Music Awards in Nashville, and when Lainey Wilson, don't know if you know her, she's one of the top female country artists, won Entertainer of the Year. In her speech, she said, women like Dolly Parton, Miranda Lambert, Reba McEntire have poured into her. And you've talked about this in your podcast before, how women can be jealous of one another, competitive with one another. Why do you think it is that women, we need each other, we need other women to pour into us, especially ones who might be doing what we're aspiring to do? How can we put the jealousy and competition to the side so that we can either pour into people or receive being poured into?
That's a tough one, isn't it? Because women, we're our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
My whole motto is there's plenty of room for everyone. And there really is, ladies. And the more you give, the more you get. And that's not why you should give, but it's true. It comes back tenfold. And I think Oprah Winfrey said it best. You cannot possibly be friends with someone who's jealous of you.
Yeah.
And I think, I've always looked at my friends. I wouldn't want to change lives with any of them. I love my friends so much, but I don't want to be in their shoes. And I'm sure they don't want to be in mine. And those are true friendships. They clap for me. They, love what I'm doing, but they're not trying to be me. And I think that that's really all you can do. you know very, very fast. Some of the closest people to you can be your biggest enemy, and you haven't realized it. It's normally that to the closer ones and the further ones, because they see it.
Mm.
They see what you're achieving, and then it triggers them somehow. And you know, that's what I always say about friendships. You can have there's nothing bad with losing friendships. That is growth too. You know, some people are here for a long time, and some type people are here for a reason, and some people are there to teach you things, and that's okay. And we have to learn to let go. And I was never that good at it. But I'm getting a lot better at it. And I wish women would support more women, because together it's very, very, very powerful. And that's what I'm doing on my retreats. I don't know if you've seen them, but
I have. That's the
yeah.
Maldives. It looked
Oh
amazing.
my God, it was fabulous. And we did Texas before, and we're about to do 2 more. And, that's about getting like-minded women from the same sort of backgrounds from all over the world, and who are interested in business, interested in community, and they all come together and we really change lives there. And I think the women that have paid to make those changes and come on my retreat, they're really ready for it. They come openly. Even if they're unsure, they come openly going, I'm not sure what I'm going to get from this, but I'm here and I'm willing to participate in all of it. And I think they're all shocked by how much they get out of it, actually. And, how much they've loved it, and, that they stay very much part of this community. So I'm building actually what I would consider more of a movement.
Why do you think men don't struggle with jealousy and comparison in the same way as women?
I don't know. I just feel men that just are in their own little bubble, getting on with their own work. They're not looking over at their neighbors. They're not looking what the guy next door's watches or car, or maybe they are, but like, I don't know. They don't gossip the same way we do. I wish I understood. I wish I understood, because it saddens me that women, that we let ourselves down like that. I can only grow by looking at my friends who have gone further than me and thinking I can go there too.
Every opportunity that I've gotten in life has come from a man. It has not come from very little from other women, hot jobs and opportunities, and they have come mainly from white men, not even Black men, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Nah.
But I think I was speaking to the president of the Cannes Film Festival this year, and she said, as a white woman, also for her, every opportunity she has gotten has come from a man. And I find that incredibly sad, because women aren't always reaching down and helping pull up other women.
Because they feel that you probably or may take their position.
Yeah.
Whereas to think a man feels already secure in his position, right? And I would say that that's been very true. All my investors right now are men
Mhm.
and friends. All of my investors before were men. But I did have female mentors, and I still have female mentors today. Um, and the ones that I look up to. And I look up to women, different women that have achieved different things that I would like, but I don't want to like pull them down so I can get myself up there. Um, Obviously I'm not a Black woman, so I can't speak on that. But, I feel that it's across the board, to be honest. It's just, I think women in general can be very catty to any woman,
Yeah.
right? And
Your own kind can be
yeah,
that way too. Yeah.
100%. And I feel it's more about you being a threat
Mm.
in your business position than, at the color of somebody's skin today, when you're going towards, if you're already at the top of your game
Mm.
and you're a threat, why am I, they kind of feel like, why am I going to give you a hand up?
Mm.
I want that job.
Mhm.
Right. Or if you get to this next rung, then you could possibly supersede me.
Exactly.
And that's more of the issue, I think, that women have, because they feel like they've had to work harder anyway to get there, so that they're not going to give another woman a leg up to, possibly overtake them.
Right. And that's the hard thing to contend with. But you gotta just keep moving on. The opportunities.
Again, you can sit in a corner and say, I've got it tougher than you, and, life is difficult for me for a multitude of reasons, as you said. Or you can say, I have just as good a chance as anybody else, and I'm going to make this work for me, which it seems to be with a good attitude, because nobody wants the person that sits there going, oh, You know, no one's you, no one's got time to feel sorry for you right now. You've just got to build, right? And that's another layer. Like, I want to hire you because I admire you, not because I feel sorry for you. Right. So if you've got 2 minutes to impress someone, I want to see the woman that's standing there working 10 times harder than anyone else to get there. Not the woman that's going, I deserve this, but nobody's looking at me. Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it makes you resourceful. It makes you think outside of in a different way.
Look at how beautifully dressed you are.
Thank you.
Right. But that means something. You got up and you've put your game face on for your podcast, right? So that people can see you a certain way. I'm sure you don't look like this all the time, as nor do I. You know what I mean? But that's what you do. You dress for success because people look at you differently, and it's sad, but it's true. Yes. Right. And that's what you have to do.
And I like your line, nobody is coming to save you.
No.
So we just have to crack on.
Again, I wish people could understand it. Because you have the most pitiful, hard start in life isn't why you're going to get the job. And even if you did, and I have many friends who are very deserving and have had a very tough upbringing, but they get there, then you tell your story, unfortunately. The other way round hinders you, doesn't help you. You have to go in, I'm as good as anybody else in this room.
Yes. A couple of last questions. How are you making your goals work in this AI-driven world?
Oh my God. AI petrifies me. I am not. My husband is doing it. So obviously he understands that I can barely work a telephone. So I don't understand AI. If I went back to school, probably maybe that's what I should be looking at. But I also feel that that's his side of the business. We don't really cross over in what we do. And that's probably why we don't step on each other's toes. That's his business. Although, you know what? I probably need to know a little bit more than I don't understand it. How about that? I just simply don't understand it.
Yeah. But as time goes, maybe.
I've only just got what's it called?
ChatGPT.
Everyone else uses it like it's their best friend. I just got it.
And I haven't even gotten it. And I'm thinking I need to get because as a writer, I feel it puts me out of a job.
Well,
I'm still
very, yeah, you have to learn to integrate it, and it's frightening. And, that's you are going to have to learn to pivot in many different ways.
Yeah.
100%. It's very scary. And, but it will probably push you to do something in ways that you never thought because you were probably comfortable.
Yes.
Now you have to get comfortable being very uncomfortable.
My father is a mortician, and he's like, you need to go to mortuary school because that's going to be a needed job in this AI world.
Well, he's not wrong, got to be honest. Morticians, and I was actually looking at it the other day as a business. I'll tell you why, because there is nowhere to bury people in the Middle East. And actually, I think morticians and funerals and all of these things, however awful it is, this will be a very big business for you. Your father is not wrong. I would be running down to his office immediately.
He's very gifted in just reconstructing someone back from a car accident.
Okay, I'm not sure. But Leslie, he's the one that does that. He's not like funeral.
He is the mortician preparing the body for a funeral, open caskets and rebuilding faces.
Okay, no, I was thinking I'd be burying people, but no, I don't know if I'd want to do
Well, you would be the business person that
not
doing the actual embalming.
No, I don't think I could do that, but I don't think I'd have the stomach for it. But it's a very big business. Your father is very clever, and he's absolutely right. No one's overtaking that.
Yeah, what people charge for funerals is, he gets so upset about it because they're charging 20, 30,000.
It's insane.
When he's like, they only really cost 3,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
Anyways, last question. I'd asked this to Inga, to Ava Cavalli. I'm 37. What would you tell your 37-year-old self?
Not to take things so seriously. I think we took ourselves too seriously. I think we put so much weight on our relationships and on ourselves. And I would like to say that everything does have a way of working itself out. I never thought I'd be this philosophical, but I do believe it's all pre-written for us. And if you have to push that hard, it wasn't meant for you. And that's it. Just enjoy yourself. It's just the beginning. Like 37 is so young, and you can be a million different things. And, as you just said, you're a writer now, but you may be a mortician in a couple of years, no joke.
Yeah.
And if that's what you are, embrace it. How amazing, and I think in the old days, everyone was like, well, I have to be a lawyer for the rest of my life. That's not so. You can be many different things today. So, and do it with joy.
Yeah. Yeah. With joy, and life works out.
Yeah.
It works itself out. Well, Caroline, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Ellie. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode and that you have found a soulful connection to the conversation. God bless you, and until the next episode, go bless somebody else.